Prime Minister Narendra Modi, meanwhile, has come out in full support of the Uniform Civil Code during his Independence Day speech from the ramparts of the Red Fort. The PM said a regular UCC and a secular UCC is the need of the hour, as the current civil codes are discriminatory and communal. PM said widespread discussions are needed and urged everyone to share their opinions. He also said laws dividing the country along religious lines should be abolished, as they have no place in a modern society. The push for a uniform civil code, remember, has been a key element in the BJP's agenda, as reflected in its manifesto for the Lok Sabha polls. Several BJP-led state governments have already begun moves to implement such a code. Let's listen into what Prime Minister said on this issue today.
हमारे देश में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने बार-बार यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को लेकर जो चर्चा की है, अनेक बार आदेश दिए हैं, क्योंकि देश का एक बहुत बड़ा वर्ग मानता है और उसमें सच्चाई भी है कि जिस सिविल कोड को हम लेकर के जी रहे हैं, वो सिविल कोड सचमुच में तो एक प्रकार का कम्युनल सिविल कोड है, भेदभाव करने वाला सिविल कोड है। ऐसे सिविल कोड से जब संविधान के 75 वर्ष मना रहे हैं और संविधान की भावना भी जो हमें कहती है करने के लिए, देश की सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी हमें कहती है करने के लिए, और तब जो संविधान निर्माताओं का सपना था, उस सपने को पूरा करना हम सबका दायित्व है। और मैं मानता हूं इस गंभीर विषय पर देश में चर्चा हो, व्यापक चर्चा हो, हर कोई अपने विचारों को लेकर के आए और उन कानूनों को, जो कानून धर्म के आधार पर देश को बांटते, जो ऊंच नीच का कारण बन जाते हैं, ऐसे कानूनों को आधुनिक समाज में कोई स्थान नहीं हो सकता है। और इसलिए मैं तो कहूंगा, अब समय की मांग है कि देश में एक सेकुलर सिविल कोड हो। हमने कम्युनल सिविल कोड में 75 साल बिताए हैं, अब हमें सेक्युलर सिविल कोड की तरफ जाना होगा, और तब जाकर के देश में धर्म के आधार पर जो भेदभाव हो रहे हैं, सामान्य नागरिक को जो दूरी महसूस होती है, उससे हमें मुक्ति मिलेगी।
Mahima Kataria is joining us for more details on this story. Mahima, the Prime Minister outlining his vision and roadmap for a Viksit Bharat by 2047 today. And amongst the vision points raised by Prime Minister today was the need for a secular civil code, something that the Prime Minister has spoken about before, but made it a point to emphasize on today in his address as well.
Well, absolutely, Uday. Like you also correctly pointed out that the Uniform Civil Code was one of the agenda in the manifesto of Bharatiya Janata Party. But also, what is important, this is Prime Minister's first speech after coming to his third term, and what exactly he stated from the Red Fort was the current civil code is communal and secular UCC is needed or is the need of the hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi batted for a uniform civil code, saying that the current civil code is communal during the Independence Day speech from the Red Fort. He also stated that Supreme Court has held discussions regarding the UCC again and again. It has given orders several times. A large section of the country believes, and it is true, that a civil code that we are living in with is actually a communal civil code in a way. I would say that it is the need of the hour to that there be a secular civil code in the country. Only then would we be free of the discrimination on the basis of religion. And we all know that a committee was constituted, a lot of suggestions were taken, and like you also correctly pointed out, there are BJP rule states who have also started to implement the UCC code, be it the Uttarakhand or Goa. So this was the first time that Prime Minister has vocally, from the Red Fort, has spoken about the secular civil code. Uday.
Right. Sumit Peer, political commentator, also joins us now on the broadcast. Sumit, the PM making another push for UCC today, using the opportunity at the Independence Day address from the ramparts of the Red Fort to speak about various emphasis areas of his government. But what stood out, of course, was the push for a secular civil code rather than a communal civil code, as the Prime Minister put it.
Good morning, Uday. Happy Independence Day to you, your team, and all the viewers of NewsX. Well, this is something which is the need of the hour, because I completely concur with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's view, because right now it's a communal code. I'll tell you how. You know, you can't have one set of laws governing your civil civil life and another set of life governing your criminal, let's say, criminal liabilities, for example. If there is a person, when it comes to marriage, inheritance and all, you go by the personal laws, for Muslim community and all. When it comes to the, criminal justice and all, then you go by the one set of law. You can't have two sets of laws for two sets of people in India, because if Muslims have a law wherein they can have 4 wives, which is not applicable for a Hindu, when the divorce is different, when the inheritance is different, when the adoption is different, adoption of a baby is different, for example, how can that prevail in the same country? This is discrimination. This is what the Constitution has promised us. Everybody is an equal citizen of India. You can't have rights and privileges which I don't have, or I can't have rights and privileges which you don't have. And when that too, this is defined by, not by a Uday or a Sumit, it is defined by what is your religion or what is my religion. And that religion gives you that advantage or that privilege. And I, on the other side, feel discriminated and feel less privileged, being a parts of the same country, having same sets of rights which are promised by us the Constitution. Then Prime Minister Modi ji is absolutely right. It is communal in nature, because it is driven by the religion. It's not driven by anything else. It's not driven by your, age, your gender or anything else. It's pure religion. If you're a Muslim, you have these sets of rights, and if you're a Hindu, you don't have these sets of rights. So that is why the need of the hour is a secular code. Secular means which is applicable across Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, across your, caste, across your gender, across your religion. Today, the legal system, which has 2 parts, one part of it is completely driven by personal laws. I mean, for example, Muslim personal laws, which is not fair. And Muslims are around 14 to 16% of the population, which is a sizable mass. The second biggest majority cannot have a different set of rules. It's like, sorry, I have to say that, because it's like having 35A and 370 in India, because that was a kind of a blot on our faces. How can we have 2 sets of rules for the same country? Likewise, how can we have 2 sets of rules for Hindus and Muslims? What is the difference between the two? I mean, why should we dare discrimination? So this law, which is prevailing right now, is communal, and the Honorable Supreme Court has time and again said, we need to get rid of it. We need to get equality to it. That is how this religion-based, discriminations and religion-based, I would say right now, a lot of religion-based persecution is happening. That will stop. That will stop when everybody is driven by the same set of laws. You cannot have these set of laws. And that too, if I'm not being sounding cynical, the Hindu population has decreased by 8%. And the Muslim population has risen by a sizable amount. So, because people can have 4 wives. People can have different sets of rules for inheritance, rules for, doing a lot of things. And if you let these things happen, there'll be a day when a section of people will stand up and say, no, even for the, criminal proceedings, we want Sharia.
Indeed.
So we need to stop that.
Indeed.
Right.
Sumit, stay with us. Let's also bring in a quick perspective from Professor Madhav Nalapat, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. The PM making a push for UCC on the occasion of Independence Day, speaking about his vision, his roadmap for 2047, but strong emphasis and push for a secular civil code on the occasion. Professor Nalapat.
Look, it's a perfectly legitimate policy. And may I say that many Muslim countries have a uniform civil code, and frankly, many Muslims follow the civil code and have a particularly 80% of the Muslims I know have just one, nothing more. They're quite happy, and indeed they have to be happy. And secondly, the birth rate it depends on the education, and it depends on whichever religion you are. If your education is of a certain level, income is a certain level, then automatically the family size goes down, irrespective of what you are. So the fact is, yes, the Muslim population has been growing a lot, Hindu population has been reduced, and in a way, it reflects the fact that, you have people in the Hindu population who are becoming prosperous, and you have to have a situation in which, all the self-inflicted wounds by extremist elements in the Muslim community are not allowed anymore to retard their progress. And every Muslim deserves a good life. And if he or she gets a good life, well then, I can tell you, there's no incentive except for a uniform civil code. So, frankly, I think it is an extremely good idea. I think it is something that every So many Muslim countries, now Muslims live in the United States, Muslims live in Europe. Are they complaining? Both have got uniform civil code. So I don't understand what the complaint is if India follows the other major democracies and has a uniform civil code. I think it's a perfectly justified move, and I fully support the move to bring in the uniform civil code, and I congratulate Prime Minister Modi for having announced it. And believe me, the majority, overwhelming majority of Muslim women will welcome it, although many may not say so in public. Thank you, Uday.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.